my channel. I am back with this week's Teen Mom Recap. Before I get started with this week's video, I would like it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I post new videos every single week about all the tea and the news going on in the Teen Mom world. And there was a lot this week, so be prepared. If that's something you want to watch, go ahead and subscribe. And anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this week's video. So we're going to start off with Janelle. A few weeks ago, the news broke that Jace was going to be living with his long-lost dad, Andrew, which is probably the last thing that anyone expected after years and years of abandonment, literally like 16 years of abandonment. But apparently it was a last-ditch effort by CPS after all of Jace's other placements unfortunately failed. And when I read that, the first thing I thought is, it's not going to be Andrew taking care of him, it's going to be his grandparents. Well, Jace's grandparents, meaning Andrew's parents. Andrew is an alcoholic weirdo with no stability, and it's questionable if he's even employed. Janelle even admitted to Andrew's alcoholism in an interview she did, some kind of podcast, but she said, oh, he's sober now. Who knows how she knows that? And given that we know nothing about Andrew's parents besides an extremely brief appearance in Janelle's 16 and Pregnant episode, there's not much to say about them. I'm always going to assume that grandparents are more stable than younger people, but some of these families are crazy. And unfortunately, we all were right that it would not last with Andrew. The news broke that Janelle flew Jace back to Las Vegas away from Andrew's house in Florida. The Andrew living situation lasted a mere 3 weeks. According to The Sun, Jace was with his dad in Florida for the first week, and then they drove up to North Carolina together. But once he was there and reunited with his friends, he didn't want to leave. Ultimately, it just wasn't working out, the insider said, which is really not detailed, so I looked at the Ashley's Reality Roundup, who also had a report. Hers said, the situation at Andrew's home was not good, the Florida source said, which is an anonymous source. Andrew is in no way in the position to be raising a kid, especially one who barely knows him and didn't want to be there in the first place. Jace lasted less than 2 weeks with Andrew, so this one's saying 2 weeks. He's not there anymore. Andrew is not mature enough to raise a child by any means. Janelle just took Andrew and his family's word that he had changed, but did not actually go to the home herself before sending Jace there. Jace didn't choose to go live with Andrew. It was decided for him, and he hated it there. He was very upset with Janelle for sending him. No one is surprised this didn't work out. Andrew has not changed. I don't understand why she would say that. Anyone around here knows that's not true. So, in other words, if Janelle had done like 2 seconds of research, she would have realized that this was a terrible idea, but she just dumps Jace off with whoever will take him, basically. No care to who she's sending her son. But just going off what the sources said, there's not a lot of true detail there. There's a lot of vague speak, which is something that always bothers me because I love details. I hate it when people like beat around the bush. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of inferring here. To me, when they say the situation is not good and Andrew is in no way in a position to raise a kid, to me that says that he was probably drinking booze out of a paper bag at 9 a.m. In other words, still an alcoholic. But I guess we may never know the truth until Jace writes a tell-all book, which please do, sir. Once you turn 18. Next is an update on Caitlin and Tyler. So last week we talked about them texting these likely catfishes who are pretending to be friends of Carly. And Kate and Tyler were stupid enough to believe that these were actually Carly's friends. And they tried to set up like secret ways to communicate with Carly. And new texts on this get released pretty much every day to the point where I became like unable to keep up with it. And I know that people are obsessively reading these texts, but to me, they all kind of say the same thing. It's like Tyler begging for information, Caitlin begging for information, the source not having any proof. Some of the sources were saying Carly doesn't want to talk to you. Some of them were saying that she does. But none of them actually got Carly in contact with Kate and Tyler because they were catfishes. Like, come on, man. And like I said, to me, all these texts are kind of the same. But if you want to read them, because I know that some people are nosy, I know I usually am, but for some reason this is like too much for me. Like it's just the same thing over and over. But I know some people want to read it, so I will leave a link down below to the account on TikTok, I believe, that's releasing all the texts, and I'll release any source that I can find for the texts. But the real part that I want to talk about, though, is that Kate and Tyler actually did like a podcast interview and revealed that the texts were real. Now, when I say real, I mean that they were real on Kate and Tyler's part. So Kate and Tyler admitted that they were like actually responding to these people. That is not saying that Carly's friends were real. It's just saying that Kate and Tyler were in fact engaging in conversation with these people. So let's watch the video of them admitting it.
It was hard to ignore that those 2 people trying to catfish us because the information was so intense and concerning that we felt like we had a duty to kind of like play their game in a way to get to the bottom of this.
Well, I think one of them, the one person that supposedly goes by Jenna or whatever.
Okay.
This person I kept asking her for proof because I didn't believe her. And she could never send me the proof. And so I was like, well, I don't believe you. Like, I can't believe you, you know? But before it got to that point, she was messaging me things saying that, like, you know, the daughter we relinquished is not allowed to speak about her siblings in the home. She's not allowed to talk about that she's adopted. Like, all these things.
She has to contact us, and they're not letting her do that. They mentioned stuff about, like, religious stuff, like, kind of cult-like sounding allegations that were super concerning, which was the main thing that kind of got me and Kate worried enough to kind of continue talking to them, because like I said, the concerns and the allegations they were saying were really hard to ignore. I think even as normal parents, but especially as birth parents who don't have a lot of information, it was scary.
So what stands out to me in that video is they're saying, oh, we had this person who was calling himself Jenna. Jenna wouldn't send us any proof that she knew Carly. But before that, she was saying really concerning stuff about Carly. Before that, why would you even read the stuff she's saying if you have no proof that this person is real? Why would you take it seriously at all? Like, if you saw those texts, they went on and on and on. They talked for, like, months with no proof that this person knew Carly. So it's like, it's just the desperation, the sheer desperation to believe that this is real. And once again, I also have to say, whoever's out there pretending to be Carly's friends, you are weird too. Like, possibly even worse than Cate and Tyler. Although Cate and Tyler are also really weird for being out here talking to minors who they think can, like, form a secret communication method with Carly. Also very strange. But we are moving on to the biggest news of this week, my personal favorite news, the juiciest news, and that is the Kale drama. Kale and Javi, more accurately. I'm going to give a little bit of backstory here. I know a lot of people know a lot about Kale, but it's really messy, so I want to kind of bring everything together. We all know that Elijah was exposed for cheating on Kale on a cruise. Now, the cruise was in 2024, but the evidence for it did not come out until, I believe, March of this year. And since then, Kale has alternated between refusing to address it and pretending that her and Elijah are still together and nothing happened. I think that was more towards the beginning. She was pretending that her and Elijah were still together. They made, like, some TikTok together. But after that, she's just, like, refused to give a comment. She doesn't talk about it on her many podcasts, I don't think, besides saying, like, oh, things are hard right now. Like, super vague. Again, I hate these vague things, and Kale just loves doing that. She doesn't really address things super directly anymore. But going to Javi to explain why he is involved in this. Javi is still in the military, and he got stationed in Virginia Beach. Kale is in Delaware. Kale decided she will not let Lincoln live with Javi in Virginia Beach. So Javi's used to have 50-50 custody, but since he was stationed in Virginia Beach, his custody has gone down to summers and holidays only and 3-day weekends. So Javi is angry about this, and he went on live exposing Kale and ripping her to shreds. He's claiming that Kale did break up with Elijah after the cheating, and he's also saying that she got a new man immediately after. Here's a picture of him. He apparently deleted all his social media soon after the news came out, but these fans are quicker. Kale commented on a lot of his pictures, so there's proof that they know each other. And this man's name is Isaac. Yes, like Kale's son Isaac. He has one child, and according to rumors, he has unpaid child support, which did not allow him to leave his state. He lives in Pennsylvania. Kale supposedly paid all his back child support so he could move in with her. And keep in mind, they've only supposedly been together for like 3 months. So let's go ahead and watch the live videos from Javi. The live went on longer, but this person clipped out the juicy parts, so we're just going to watch the juicy parts.
They're dead to me too. That is why anybody who talks to her, who ever had a relationship with her, I cut off immediately. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to. There was an old gym buddy who started working with her, started doing podcasts with her, unfriended. Don't want to see your content. Don't want you to see my content. Don't want none of that. Because these people in her circle enable her. I'd be so embarrassed. How anyone at soccer, how she could even show her face at soccer like that 40 minutes late with someone else. I've come to find out this person has been around since April, allegedly. Allegedly. No, all her friends are enablers. All her friends are enablers. Yeah, they fall for her stupid podcast. All she does is post lies. All she does is talk about lies. Everything is calculated. With this type of person, everything she does and posts is calculated. She wants you guys to think she's around all the kids. She wants you guys to think this and that. I have documented how many times she isn't and how many times I correct her. Why are you not giving him to me when you are not in town? I am mind blown. Why is this person's dad watching him when I am in town? Yeah, I did her podcast because she was with Elijah then. Things were different. He messed up. That's not my business. That's not my part to get involved with. He messed up. Yes. Things are different now that Elijah is not there and she is a single person having to do everything. So after this live, she's going to post tons of pictures and videos of her running around town, old content, new content. She's going to make it known that she is running around town, taking care of everyone. And how does she do it as a 7? She doesn't. She has help. For some weird reason, she prioritizes. She doesn't really care about I don't even want to get in trouble lawsuit wise because that's coming too. That's next. I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble, but I'm sick of it. I'm honestly sick of it. My son deserves to be with me during the school year and go point blank period. See, people like envy Erica. She's not allowed to move on. That is what's wrong with the world. Envy Erica. Can I pin her? How do I pin her comment? This is what's wrong with. How do I pin this? Pin and comment. That is what's wrong. That is what's wrong with people. She is enabled. People like that. People like that follow her. That is the problem right there. So envy Erica. You are the problem. You are the problem. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired of keeping it behind closed doors. I knew it. She was going to text me as soon as I go on live, and sure enough, I called it. So be ready for all the sports content. And yeah, it's been 2 months. And supposedly she was engaged. Supposedly they were going to get married soon. So sure, move on. That's fine. Again, please stop asking me how co-parenting is going. It will never be okay. I do not care. Even if she broke up with this new guy tomorrow, it will never be okay. Lincoln literally cried over Elijah when it happened, when he came home to me. Literally. He cried. And I tried to talk him through it, said it's okay. He made a mistake. It's up to him to rebuild that relationship, and I told him he would. Literally. So co-parenting will never be okay. Please stop asking how my co-parenting is going. Please stop asking how Lauren and hers relationship is going. It will never be okay. Ever. There is literally nothing in this world that will make it okay. I just want you guys to know that. So please, so when I put a question box, stop asking that, because that's one of the most common questions. But I just want you guys to know what I have to, not even just me, what we all have to deal with. Chris is the only one that's ever said anything. Partly me, because I was so tired of the drama that unfolded from basically my whole 20s. 10 days. I'm going to pick him up on his last day of school, and he's going to be with me all summer. But sometimes it goes to, I have him all summer just to fix everything that that he gets exposed to over there. My heart hurts doing that. That's not what I want to do. A parent shouldn't have to do with that. That is not co-parenting. And I'm sick of it. That's it. I don't have anything else to say. I had a bunch of notes. It is what it is. It is what it is. One of those things, you know better, do better. At what point do you learn? What brought this on, Rocky Estrada, is that allegedly word on the street is this new man is moving in or close to it. One or the other. Whatever. I am picking up from school on his last day, Holly. Thank you. What did this person just say? See, comments like this, do you think this would even have your relationship? Oh, you guys keep commenting. Relationship with Kale or even benefit Lincoln with coming to social media. Really? Me coming to social media to tell how much of a POS that person is going to hurt him when he's literally seen how many guys come through that house? You're worried about me coming on social media? Really? No. Do you think she had a conversation about it, the Donta? No. I heard about it because we have mutual friends in Allentown. I grew up in Allentown for 18 years. I knew the guy when I saw him. Like, is she that dumb? Me and him weren't friends. So I didn't know him personally. So I don't really care. I don't care that she has a new boyfriend. I want to make that very, very clear. I do not care that she has a new boyfriend. I care that I'm being told he is moving allegedly close to the vicinity or the same house. I'm sure he's had sleepovers. We're adults. It's mind-blowing to me that a mother could do this to their children. Not even just Linking. Now I'm speaking as a whole, all 7 of them. It is crazy. And I've kept you guys long enough. I know it's the middle of the afternoon. What am I going to go to court for? I just spent like 10 grand trying to get him to come with me for the school year, and that didn't get me anywhere. That basically got me saying the judge is going to be in the mom's favor, is ultimately what it was. So I took the best deal that I thought I could get. So what is going to court? Nothing's changed. She's not abusing him. She's not on drugs. There's nothing that's going to help me. I'm just going to go waste more money and not win.
So, yeah. Crazy stuff. Now, after this was uploaded, obviously it kind of set off a bunch of other fireworks. Chris Lopez posted a Q&A, which is basically saying, like, I knew this was the truth all along. Now you see how she is. And I'm going to put these screenshots here. He is so glad that someone is, like, validating him. Which, to me, it's like, Javi is a much better man than Chris. He's not perfect, but, like, the fact that Chris is kind of using this to be like, see, I was right. I don't know how to feel about that, because Chris is kind of trash, too. So here, someone asked if him and Javi have a relationship, and he's saying that the first time they saw each other, it damn near led to blows. I believe that's because Kale was cheating on Javi with Chris in the beginning, but he said that there's mutual respect now. They're not in the same toxic space they once were. They're not being pulled into chaos. You could read all this. And someone said, stop hyping up because Javi talked. He says, y'all be so bothered, LOL. I've been chilling doing what I normally do. This ain't new. Like, no, you are super happy that Javi is taking your side. And this screenshot, I don't know who blocked out the Kale. I'm assuming maybe Chris blocked that out to try to avoid like a cease and desist. But he says, I can't sympathize with someone who moves the way they do. Someone who shows no remorse, no accountability, no real care for anyone but herself. Who can hurt people, lie, manipulate, and walk around like it's justified, like the truth doesn't matter. I can't feel bad for that. I can't respect that, and I damn sure can't sympathize with it. Then this one here says, just because it's validated what I've been saying doesn't change what I've been living. It doesn't erase the pain. It doesn't fix the damage. We're still going through it. Blah, blah, blah. And he also posted this picture of Future looking in the door, which I just feel like Chris is kind of like Future, like he has multiple baby mamas and won't claim any of them. Kale herself has refused to address the claims that she has a new man. And to me, when the cast members refuse to address things, that just means it's true. Like, we just saw that last week with Cate and Tyler saying, oh, we're not going to address all these rumors. And then the next week they did address it and they said, yeah, those texts were real. Like, if there was no truth to it, you would just deny it and say, this is bullshit, I don't know who this person is. But clearly she does know who this person is. She's dating this person. She has comments on this person's page. She also posted this video.
I'm seeing the comments. I see everything that's being posted right now, and I'm going to address it at a later time. But this week was dedicated to Elliot, and it's super important to him and to our family to keep things as planned. And I'm not going to take this moment away from him. So I would just love for everyone to support my son and what he has to say, and let him share his story this week, and I will address everything else at a later time.
God, I hate the vagueness. And then she basically did exactly what Javi said she was going to do. So in that live, Javi said, Kale's going to come out and post all this family content to distract from the news of her new man. And that is exactly what she did. Made a bunch of distraction posts about her family to ward off the allegations, or like help the search engine optimization. So when people search her name, the family stuff comes up instead of her having a new man and moving them in with her kids after knowing him for 3 months. No stability for her kids at all. So she posted this, like her and Lux, some boring questions when you know that there's better questions sitting in the inbox, girl. She also released a podcast with her son, her oldest son. We know him as Isaac, but he says he wants to go by Elliot now, so we can respect that. It's also funny that he said that right after Kale's new man was revealed to be his name is Isaac. Don't know if there's a correlation there. I think Isaac has been going by Elliot for a while now, so. Elliot also came out as gay, which, like, good for him, but I don't really care. All I care about is the drama with Kale and her new boyfriend. I don't really care about the sexuality of her children. The only thing that Kale really did in response was she posted this picture of Wawa, which is an obvious jab at Javi. He hates when she mentions the Wawa incident. And if you guys don't know the Wawa incident, it's when Kale was like on the couch talking to her producer, and she said, Javi came up to me at the Wawa and said, I want to fuck you right now. When he was with Lauren, he was trying to fuck me at the Wawa. Not an exact quote, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Also, she's apparently on TikTok and Instagram addressing the claims that Javi said in the live that she was late to soccer practice, which, like, who fucking cares about that? I want to hear about the new man. And she's over here addressing everything but that. She says, I would also like to add that Lux was at practice and I was late because I was working, not hanging out. And then over the weekend, I wasn't partying. I was there for Elliot's first Pride and film his episode. Link wanted to be with his BFF since he was a toddler because he won't see him for 3 months while he's with Javi for the summer. And again, that's another jab at Javi, like, obviously Lincoln doesn't want to go over there. He wants to be with his best friend. And then she says something about Pop Pop has been around for 8 years. I have no idea who that is, and I don't really care. In fact, I don't care about this post at all. I want to hear about your man, Isaac. And lastly, we have some unconfirmed allegations from the account TM Chatter. Now, the thing about this account on Instagram is they do have a lot of news and tea, but they, like, absolutely despise Kale. And I don't really hate any of the cast, despite what you guys might think. I just find them, like, entertaining. But some of these accounts on Instagram, they hate Kale, like, to an unhealthy level. So I'm not sure if any of this is true, but it is really funny, so I'm gonna read it anyway. The scoop on Kale Lowry's new boy toy, Isaac. He dated a girl named Amanda for 5 years, but while working at Kids Peace, a residential children's behavioral treatment center in Pennsylvania, this is so specific, he cheated on her with a psychiatrist who also worked there. His daughter is the result of that affair. Amanda decided to stay with him and work through the affair, even raising his daughter as her own. However, Amanda eventually got tired of his lying, cheating, being a bum, and acting a lowlife that she eventually kicked him out. He was begging her to get back with him, just months before he started talking to Kale. I'm just going to pause there. Psychiatrists have a medical degree, like they went to medical school. They are doctors, so why they would get involved with a loser like this is... that doesn't ring as true to me. Usually educated people, I mean, they can get scammed. It's not impossible, but... like, what does this man have to offer? I don't know. Anyone who knows Isaac knows that he is a player and it's only using Kale. He keeps telling people that he's only with her for money, an area in the country to shoot his guns, using Kale for the land, and hoping to gain traction as an influencer with fishing. Now, he did delete his social media, or I don't know if he went private or deleted it, but I think he deleted it soon after this news came out, so that wouldn't really track with him trying to be an influencer, unless Kale made him delete it. I don't know. He even goes around town and calls her Ms. Piggy to his close friends and family, and his mom thinks it's funny. Miss Piggy is something that people have been calling Kale online for years, I guess because of, like, her piggy nose, and they also call her Hulk and stuff. I don't know if he would actually be doing that, but it made me laugh. He's not active in his daughter's life at all, which is weird because he helps coach a local football team for little kids. Lil Rovers. Why is this so specific? The girl he cheated with has gotten married, and her husband plays an active fatherly role. To my understanding, since Isaac has gotten with Kale, he's been making payments to his daughter's mom, even though he recently quit his job in preparation to move closer to Kale, or in with Kale. So take that however you want. He's listed a lot of his stuff on Facebook Marketplace too. The move is close. Nobody from the Valley, this paragraph is so funny, is shocked to see Kale with Isaac because she was known as a homie hopper when she lived in the area because she used to go to hotel parties and get passed around. So her being with this dude is not a shock to anyone who lives here. There's a family barbecue coming up, and is anyone guess if Kale will be present? Update, there's possibly another girl he's talking to named Melissa. Stay tuned. I don't know if any of that is true. And I have my doubts because, like I said, these accounts on Instagram really hate Kale, but that all just made me laugh. It brought some joy to my week, so I'm going to post that anyway, and you guys can decide whether you want to believe it. Anyway, that is about all for this week. Go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know what you think of Kale's drama. Do you think she's actually with this man? Is he actually moving in with her? Is Javi just bitter, or is he speaking the truth? Is she using her son as a distraction tactic? And what do we think was wrong with Andrew that Jace didn't want to live there anymore? Make sure to leave a comment down below, and make sure to subscribe for more Team Mom recaps every week.